So this one is just a Peacock Caddis. Like I said, I love to tie with natural materials. And this is one that I've been kind of messing around with and trying to tie better. Real simple. I mean, again, peacock, some elk, deer, or whatever you want to tie with as for the materials, and some hackle. And that's kind of it. What I've been doing is tying down some red wire, like extra small red wire, and just using that kind of as a core for my peacock. So just tie that in, tie it down good enough, and then come in here and you want to find out which, again, like I said, you got bigger, right around here you got the thicker, fuller hurls, as opposed to up here where you got the smaller stuff for like your pheasant tails or something like that. So on this one, we want it to be somewhat full, so we're just going to grab about 3 of these guys here, because they are so full and so nice and pretty. Cut those tips off, tie those in. Okay, and then my wire's tied in opposite the barb there. Just make sure everything's tied down nice and neat. And then what I do, and I can't remember, I think actually it's Ben Forminsky said someone taught him either to go clockwise or counterclockwise to wrap it, and it tightens it up more so, and I can't remember, but so I just go clockwise.
You can only go counterclockwise or
right.
clockwise.
So if you go one way, somehow, I don't know if it was on a dubbing loop or something, it tightens it up better. I can't remember, but anyways, on this one I'm just going clockwise, or yeah, clockwise on this, just to
all right, you only have 2 options.
yeah. You got a good chance of getting it.
You got 3, you can do nothing.
So I just want to get that right there on the wire.
Do nothing.
So you're gonna wrap the wire.
Yeah. Because when you tie stuff with peacock, it's great, but first fish sometimes it comes back and shreds. And so as you're wrapping this, just kind of continue to tighten it up a little bit as you're going. If you tighten it up too much, it's going to pop off, break that wire. So you just want to kind of come in somewhere in the middle there. Okay, and it gives it a nice full body there. Okay, somewhere up in here, because you still want to add your hackle and your wing. And I never use the tips of my scissors to cut wire. I think I may have mentioned it before. So just come in here. Even these scissors here, I want to use way back into the back portion of the blade. So that, I mean, even right there, if I tied it off and fished that sucker, it'd probably catch a fish. Looks like a beetle or something. And then I like to use like a grizzly hackle. There's not much of this grizzly left. I picked this is from way back when, so it's been picked over pretty good. It's in pieces, and so there's a few, but there's still enough hackles to crank out probably a couple dozen flies on here. So you just want to size your hackles so they're not too big. Again, not too long on this, and I might have trouble finding a correct size, but we'll get the idea. And I like using neck hackles most of the time for most of my flies. Kind of limits me though, because your necks, you pick out all those sizes that you use, and then pretty soon you're done with them. But I do like using necks better than saddles. Saddles are a lot easier, but I prefer the necks. So again, my box, the stuff I tie from my box, I'll use epoxy, I'll use necks or whatever, as opposed to saddles that I might tie for the shop or something like that. So just put a few wraps of this. You're not looking for a really full. Not a ton of hackle on here. Make sure you leave yourself some space to place your wing. Come in here and clip that, And if you have any ones you want to clip, you can do so. Okay. And then just need to now add the wing. You can use any material as far as deer and elk. For my caddises, I like elk, a little bit cow elk specifically. It's a little stiffer, but I got this patch of compared deer, and it's got a great color to it. Kind of matches that darker peacock, and it lays in really nice and neat. So I'll grab a piece of that, just clean it out real nice and clean. What I do is I just get all that fuzz out. I'll spread it out, kind of splay it out a little bit. You can still see there's a bunch in there. Just kind of roll it, and then give it a couple blows to get all that stuff underneath, kind of down and deep, kind of maybe on the back side where it can fall out. Once you do that, just throw it in your stacker. And this is one of those new,
Taper it down.
the new tapered from Metz. That I was telling you about that fly tying contest that I did at the Cubby. I entered that fly and I got second. First place was a fly rod, and I was like kind of bummed, but second place was Umpqua sponsored it, so they had a bunch of materials, and so you know, I got home and like looking at it and started playing with it and messing around, and I actually think I got the better end of the deal because I didn't need a new fly rod. So I got, you know, the scissors, hair stacker, some other tools, and another bobbin, and
I like that too.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can. It's nice and heavy.
I like that taper.
But so the limitations, like on my hopper, I have to use a different stacker because I'm using a little bit more hair of that cow elk, especially, and it just gets stuck in there because that thing's so tapered.
They
But
don't have different sizes.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But like on hair like this, when it's really fine tapered, you can. It works great for that. So all I'm going to do is just going to put it a little bit longer on the body, lengthwise. So those black tips are extending a little bit past the back bend there. Okay, and then come up here, make one wrap is what I like to do, kind of snug, just a little bit, 2 wraps, and then pull towards you. Okay, without breaking. I'm using 8/0, so I got to kind of be careful. And then another third, and then as I go, I kind of bite into some of those butts. Okay, and then I can put a few wraps if I need to, right back in there. But I like to pull this up, bite, pull some more, bite, and then kind of get everything kind of on the top there, and then finish off right behind the eye, and then come in and clip it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 or so. Try not to trap any hackles. Cut that, and then you got to come back and cut your. Some people like to tie it in, cut it to length, then tie it. I prefer to come back and cut it. And then if you have any butts that you need to cut later, you can also do that. I've messed around with tying them in that way with, you know, cut them and then lay them in and tie it. But I always end up tying it, and then my wing's too long. I'm like, crap. So then I have to undo it, shorten it up, you know, cut them again and everything. And so that just something I might have to play with. If you have any stray fibers that you don't like, you can just pull them, pluck them. Get them out of the way, kind of push everything kind of right up on top. And I come in here and just cut a notch, a couple fibers out here. Just so when the